Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good day to the evaluator and also my supervisor, TS Maslita. Right, my name is Fareez Haziq Bin Adnan, and today I am about to present my project during the final project execution. So the project that I've been developed for the past few weeks is Tampin Bowling Tournament Management System, TBTMS. So let's see what is the TBTMS is all about. So what is it? Tampin Bowling Tournament Management System is a web-based system used to assist the executions of bowling tournament. So the purpose of developing the Tampin Bowling Tournament Management System is because we would like to assist and also to ease the execution process of bowling tournament. So we know that during the executions of any tournament, there's a lot of process that we need to do, and the complexities and everything is quite hard for an organizer to run their tournament smoothly. That is why Tampin Bowling Tournament Management is being developed. Right. Before that, let's see what's the problem that occur, which we see that as an opportunity to introduce a new system to replace the old system that caused a lot of problem. Alright, let's see. The first problem is marshal face difficulties to collect score from each lane. Usually, organizer would not be able to identify the potential winner of the game until the end of the games. Means that every lane usually have one marshal. One marshal will take care of one lane. However, the marshal only have score on their lane only, which is to get the overall result from the tournament, which is the winner of the tournament. All of the marshal need to compile and combine all of the score that they have and recalculate it in order to find who is the winner from the particular tournament. Second problem is bowling center do not have enough time to conduct many tournaments in a single day. So we know that when it comes to business is really time management is really important when it comes to business. So by using all method of tournament execution, usually tournament will use a lot of time during the tournament setup, and then the collections of data, collections of score, and then the calculations of the score until the closing ceremony. So usually for one particular tournament, it's require a lot of time to finish. Due to this matter, bowling center usually does not have enough time to run more tournament at a single day. So usually for a well-established bowling center, they might have an opportunity to run maybe 2 to 3 tournaments per day. However, by using the Tampin Bowling Tournament Management System, they might be able to run more tournament in a single day. Alright. The next problem is bowling center only be able to generate score of all player but would not be able to generate ranking of the player. So usually when there's a tournament happen, usually when the tournament finish, the organizer will go to the counter and ask for the management staff to print out their overall result from the tournament. However, the result being printed out according to the respective lane only, which is they don't calculate the total, they don't sort it ascending to descending order, which is they don't highlight which one is the winner from any lane, which one have the highest score and which one have the lowest score. By using Tampin Bowling Tournament Management System, we highlight the winner by using ascending and descending order, highest on top, lowest on bottom. Alright, now we talk about objective of the development. So the first objective that we would like to highlight is to assist the tournament marshal to collect score in a shorter time. So by using the Tampin Bowling Tournament Management System, most definitely we will be able to collect more score on a shorter time. which is Marshall can collect score straight away, and the score will go to the system and being calculated straight away. Then number 2, to provide tournament information to the audience. What are the information that we would like to give to the audience is maybe the tournament name, and then the date and also the time of the tournament, who is the organizer of the tournament that are running right now. Alright, the last objective is to enable player and audience or marshal to observe ranking of the player in the tournament. So we would like to give and provide information to the audience, marshal, and player about the potential winner of the tournament. So by displaying result in a live form, the audience and also the marshal and player might be able to identify and guess who is the potential winner for the tournament. Right, let's see. This is the software that I use to develop this system. First one is Adobe Muse. Adobe Muse is Adobe Muse is the one that I use to develop the front end. And then Dreamweaver is the software that I use to combine the front end and back end. And the Sublime is I use in total for to write my source code for back end. And this is the database that I use, which is my SQL. Alright, so without further ado, Alright, I would like to open the localhost index first, and then I click on my project in the localhost, which is the Tampin Bowling Tournament Management System, TSM. And then as you can see, this is the login interface for my system. On the left side, there's a green button with text Marshall. That button will bring the user to the mobile view that will be used by the Marshall. And then the right side is the normal login for the administrator of the system. Alright, here is the overall interface. There is 4 main menu on the top, and then there's a clock on the top right, logout button, and the 4 button for each screen. So this is the registration screen with 2 button: register tournament and then register marshal. Alright, let's click on the administrator button. This is the administration screen. There's user data, tournament data, player data, overview, and admin. So this is the user data. List of the admin on top. There is 2 admin that are accessible to use the system currently. And then this is on the bottom is the list of the marshal that has been registered recently. There's an update and delete button as well. Alright, so here is the tournament data. This is the tournament that has been registered and already finished. So as you can see, there's a tournament ID, tournament name, date, time, organization, marshal number, and then participant number, and then lane involved. So the tournament ID is really important because tournament ID will be used by the marshal to access the tournament to insert the data in the correct tournament. Right now we click on the overview. So once the tournament finish, the tournament will be displayed on this overview page, whereby there's a button on the right one that we can view. So this is the tournament that has been finished. So the status is completed. This is the list of the player. Amirul is the winner because he's on top, and then the bottom is the lowest mark, the lowest score. Right, the last button is add admin. So if the system require more admin, we can register it in this button. And then this one is the leaderboard. So the leaderboard does have the input field to search for any particular tournament according to the tournament ID. Alright, now we would like to demonstrate on how a tournament will be executed. So first, an organizer will come to the bowling center and request for a registration. So as an administrator, I would like to register the tournament that has been requested by the organizer. So right now, Universiti Teknikal Malaysia Melaka is the tournament name. So we write the tournament name first, and then the number of participants is 20. Okay, 20 players will be involved, and then the organization is U10. Number of tournament day, we can select from 1 to few days. Alright, for this one, maybe 2 days, maybe 1 day. Alright, so the number of marshal is 2. So logically, for 20 player, usually we will use 2 lane, which is one lane will consist of 10 player. Right, so 2 marshal is enough to cater 20 player. Right now, the tournament has been registered. As you can see on the bottom, Universiti Teknikal Malaysia Melaka bowling tournament with an ID of T003 and participation 20, lane number 2. Right, once the tournament has been registered, what admin need to do is now register for the marshal. So like I said just now, involvement of marshal is only 2, so we just need to register for 2 marshal to use the system. So the first marshal that I would like to register is Iman. Alright, this Iman person will take care of the lane number 1, and the other marshal will take care of the lane number 2. The assignation of marshal according to the lane is actually being made by the organizer itself. So they themselves, they will decide who will take care of any designated lane way before they come to the bowling center. So usually they will decide everything first, and then they come and we just register everything. Okay, I am now inserting the username and also the password. Alright, so once the registration is done, what I need to do is I need to inform the organizer. I will call the organizer, I will ask them who is the marshal. Alright, then I'll call the marshal and tell them their password and also username so that they can access to the system. So I'll tell, hello marshal, so your name is this one, your username will be this one, and your password will be this one. I'll tell them verbally so that they know how to access to the system by using their username and also their password. Alright, so the second marshal has been registered. So as I mentioned just now, the game will have 2 marshal 1 and marshal 2. And now if we go to the user data, just now there's only 6 user, and then there's an additional of 2 new user, which is the user that have been registered recently just now. Alright, there's a button of update and delete as well, so that if you want to perform you want to do any correction, you can just click on update, and if you want to delete it, can just click delete straight away. Alright, So once the registration done, like I said just now, I will inform the marshal on how to go to the mobile view and how to log in to the system. So right now the responsibility of the administrator is finished, is done. Okay, so this is the process of marshal to log in into the system. Right, as I mentioned, we inform the marshal on how to enter the mobile view. So with the username, that password that has been informed by the administrator, the marshal will start to insert their username and password in order to access the mobile view of the system. So basically the mobile view and also the web view is totally different, which is the function is also different, whereby web base is basically to manage, to register for the tournament, to manage, to update and delete. However, for the mobile view, the usage is only restricted to register for player and also to key in the score. Alright, so on the left side is the first mobile phone successfully login, and then the right one is also successfully login. Like I mentioned just now, for this tournament there will only two marshal involved, so Iman and also Naim, left and right. So organizer assign their marshal beforehand, before they come to the tournament center, so they know which lane that they have to do. So what they need to do is, first when they enter the web view system, they will go to the register player. They will go to the register player. So the ID, like I mentioned just now, the ID is very important so that we can access the tournament that is the correct tournament. Like this marshal is supposed to key in the score for the UTEM tournament, so the ID is T003. So the ID is very important so that the marshal can accurately and correctly insert the score in the correct tournament. So the selection for the number of player, for example, if the marshal choose one, only one input field will visible. If the marshal click 5, so 5 input field will visible. Like I mentioned just now, the system supposed to have 20 players, but for the demonstration we will use it. We will use 5 player only to shorten the time. Alright, so I will now insert one by one the name of the player from lane number 1. Alright, and then the marshal from lane number 2 will also do the same thing as the marshal that take care of the lane number 1, which is the marshal will enter the correct tournament ID and then choose the number of player and then click the lane number 2. The right one will take the lane number 1 and then the right one will take the lane number 2 and then start to fill all the player names. Alright, once the marshal finish, insert all the player name, click submit. Okay, so the player is added for lane number 1 and so lane number 2 successfully. So the name of the player is already exist in the tournament in the player data. So if we click on player data, there's an addition of new player that we registered just now. So basically the player data is an indicator to identify whether the player is already exists or not. Right now, so as you can see here, the overview and also the leaderboard is actually empty. So there's nothing. It's actually empty. So there's nothing inside. Alright. So the overview of the tournament will appear once the status in the source code the status of the tournament finish. When the third game finish, so automatically the overview will appear, the tournament will appear in the overview. Right now we will go to the tournament. We will demonstrate on how the score will be inserted into the system. Okay, tournament ID, we will insert tournament ID T003, the same ID that we used to register the player. Same ID will be used to insert the score. So as you can see, if we insert the correct ID, the name of the player will appear. So the left one is the player that has been registered on the lane number 1 by the marshal of the lane number 1, and the right one is the name list of the player that has been registered by the marshal from lane number 2. So both of the name list is different. Left one is lane number 1 player, and right one is the player that is playing on the lane number 2. Alright, just imagine that the game is already started, so all of the player will start to throw the balls until the end of the first game. So as a marshal, once the last player throw their balls and the total of the game for the total of the score for game number 1 is already appear, so what the marshal need to do is to insert the end score for game number 1 for all the player from lane number 1 and lane number 2, and then they will submit it. So once they submit it, the score in the leaderboard will be updated. So as you can see, the game number is already changed to game 2. So just now the leaderboard is actually empty, but now there's a name list of the player which already being sorted on the descending order, the highest on top, the lowest on the bottom. So Daniel Azrai is the winner of the current game so far, not the winner for the overall tournament, but for the first game only. So this is the total marks for the game number 1, and the game number 2 will begin soon. So as you can see, the arrangement of the player is actually by using the highest and the lowest score, which is it's not being sort according to the lane. So the player, even though the player the highest mark of the all player came from lane number 5 or number 6, still will appear on top, so that we know that who is the potential winner so far. Right, so here we will start to insert the game number 2. I accidentally click on the wrong button, so I need to reinsert the tournament ID again. But when I reinsert the tournament ID, the game will not be reset to the game number 1, so I can just continue to game number 2. Okay, once I finish insert the game number 2, I'll insert marks for game number 3. So the format of the tournament is 3 games will be played respectively, and total score from the 3 games will be used to announce who is the winner of the overall game. So as you can see, there's an indication state that game has finished, game has ended. So once the indication game has ended appeared, so automatically in the leaderboard the status of the game is already completed. So once the status is completed, so automatically this is the final result of the player. So it will shorter the time for the execution of the tournament, which is they don't have to calculate it manually, they don't have to compile and combine all of the marks from each lane and then recalculate it and arrange it, highest on top and lowest on bottom. So as you can see here, on the overview, like I said, once the game finished, the status changed to completed, the game will appear on the overview. So here is the final result of the game. So we can click to print. Okay, so if they wanted an evidence, we can print it straight away. Alright, so last function for the web view is what we call it, add administrator. So for example, there's a new staff that started to work in the bowling center, so we need to register them into the system so that they can access to the system. So the registration process is also is actually same to how we register the marshal. So basically the information is actually same. What is required is actually same. Okay, see, if we check on the user data, there will be an increase in the usage in the admin. Okay, so logout is also functioning, so we can log out and log out. Right, so that's all for the demonstration.